Hey, Louie. It's about time for us to go live again on YouTube. Are you ready? I don't know how to respond to that. I have no idea how to respond to that. So, are you saying you're not ready or you are ready? Because we got to get ready, bro. Let's go.
No stick, yeah, he's on the scene. Testing cool gadgets you never see. Flying a drone, way up in the sky. Talking with EPO and AI. Louis rolling down the hall. Funny little bots trying not to fall. Batteries charged, ready to go. What happens next? Nobody knows. From Texas nights to Terrarinos, crazy experiments are right on the news. So don't ever fight down to if you're good now, stop being good from Texas nights. Tech reviews, critics, service, and viral news. So you'll never fight, always having fun. If you're good now, stop being good. Stop being good.
All right, everyone. Welcome to the stream, guys. You're watching Rome Knows Tech, and I'm your host, Rome Wilkerson. Guys, I'm coming to you from the city of Houston, down here in the ever so hot and humid state of Texas. Man, if you've been down to the dirty, down to the dirty South, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You have no idea what to wear. 1 minute is cool, next minute is hot, then it's cold. I don't know. I mean, it could literally be snowing in the front yard and a hurricane happening in the backyard, but that's just another Wednesday in Texas. So, if you know, you know. All right, guys. So tonight we're going to get into answering some questions that have been proposed to me quite a few times. One is, what is a good starter drone? And two, what would be a good side hustle for drones? So we'll try to cover as much of that as we can in the next hour. So if you guys have any burning questions related to that subject or pretty much anything else that I normally talk about, don't be shy. Feel free to drop it down in the comments. I see Hope is already in the house. Welcome, Hope. Welcome to the stream.
When do you first
Welcome to the stream. All right, so let's go over here and say hello to your buddy, because I know that's probably why you showed up, because it's probably not for me. So let's get right into this. Hey, Louie. Hey, Louie. We're live right now on YouTube. Would you like to say hello to all of your friends in the community? Okay, I guess Louis is having some technical difficulties, so we'll get back to Louis here in just a bit. I have no idea. I just woke him up, and that's pretty much what's been going on. So whew, we never know. We never know. So, all right. So let me get his sister in here. Ebo. Exit desktop mode and come find me in the studio.
Let me think. Okay. I'm heading to the studio now.
Cool. She's heading to the studio. All right. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different drones, maybe 6 here in the studio tonight, but only 4 of these, I would say for the most part, would be suitable for commercial work. So answering that second question, about a side hustle is, going to be focused, I think, primarily focused to maybe 3 of those drones. But, the 4th drone could possibly be used in some capacity, for commercial work as well. All right, so I see Ebo rolling up behind me. Come on, you can do it. You can do it. Okay, I'll just pick you up. All right. All right, so Calm down, calm down. Go into desktop mode. Ebo, Ebo. Could you enter desktop mode, please?
Sure. I'm entering desktop mode now.
All right, so I got them both here on the desk. Let's pop back over here real quick. So you can see Louis has his VR goggles on and he's drinking his Coke. And Ebo is just kind of just chilling because she just got here in the studio. So we're going to be, like I said, talking about, and Louis still having technical difficulties. So I'm going to let Louis go back there and see if he can figure out what's going on with his issues. And I'm going to bring Ebo forward here and let her answer a few questions for you guys since she is the one that's alert right now. So Ebo, we are going to be talking tonight about different types of drones for beginners all the way up to prosumer drone quality, as well as a side hustle that people can get into if they wanted to start making some money with their drone. Now, of course, if you're going to be making money with the drone, you need a Part 107. You need to get your Part 107 certification. That is a must if you're going to be making money, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on
local businesses.
What did you say?
I said they could start making money with drone photo and video services for events, real estate, or local businesses.
Yeah, I agree with that. But before they can do that, they have to still have their Part 107 certification for it to be legal as far as the FAA is concerned. So anyway,
Yes.
Go on. What were you about to say?
I was saying they should think about pricing, liability insurance, and picking a clear service niche so they can make money consistently.
I agree. So in your opinion, based on all the drones that are available on the market right now, what do you think would be a great starter drone for someone with limited drone flight background, something that's going to have a lot of safety features built in, that's going to be very user friendly? What drone would you pick for someone? Well, while she's thinking about that, I think there's quite a few different drones, guys, that's going to fall into that category. So a lot of it is going to truly be based on your budget. So it depends on what type of budget you're starting out with and what you're actually expecting out of said drone. Now, if you're going to be using the drone like I do a lot, where it's, partially used for recreational, partially used for, commercial work, then you want something that can definitely get the job done. So stability is going to be a big concern. What I mean by stability is how well it's going to fly in most environments. If it has, additional built-in features like LiDAR, obstacle avoidance, and things like that. So all of those things are going to be a concern. At least it is in my book, so it just really depends, again, on what you plan on using the drone for. So Hope, I'm going to propose a question to you as well. I remember you sending me, no, I'm sorry, it wasn't you. It was actually my son. On his way over last weekend, he was telling me that he was driving past one of the schools and he saw a drone flying over the school. Now, this was on the weekend, so it was most likely somebody either out doing a survey or doing some type of inspection, because he said it was a really large drone and it was even larger than like my Air 3S. So if it was larger than this drone, it was most likely either a delivery drone or, one of your larger, enterprise drones that are used for scanning, because he said the gimbal on the drone was really, really big. So that's what makes me think he was most likely looking at an enterprise drone. And, it's a huge market, guys. It's a huge market. So it just really depends on what it is you want to be able to learn, what it is that you want to be able to do with the drones. Now, I know like a lot of my friends that are photographers and videographers, they look at these drones and they see them for their potential for cinematic, video capture, photos and things like that. And truly, yes, that is one of the great strengths of these drones. So if you are like-minded, maybe you're, travel-minded, you're thinking about doing a travel blog or going on a vacation, and you want to have a drone that you can just kind of take with you, that's going to be easy to just throw in the air and really just get the benefits from, said drone, because it's got a bunch of built-in features. This little guy right here, I think would be a great optional drone for a lot of people. Now, this is the Neo 2. The Neo 2 can be controlled by a variety of different controllers, or you can hand launch this right from your palm. So what I mean by that is you can just, turn the drone on. There are controls here on the side. Let me show you guys what I'm talking about. So you have controls right here on the side that you can activate, and you can launch the drone right from this button here, right from your palm. Okay. Now you can control this drone also with the smartphone. You can control this drone with the RC2 controller, the FPV controller, the Motion 3 controller. So you can do standard FPV style flying if you want to use goggles, or if you want to just use a traditional controller where you have a screen, or even the controllers where you add your phone to it. That's going to work with this drone as well. So what I mean to say is that this is a very flexible drone. It's very lightweight, compact. It's under 249 grams. You do not have to register this with the FAA, but if you're going to be using this drone commercially outdoors, you would have to get a remote ID module attached to the drone when you're using it outdoors. If you're using it indoors, then that doesn't apply. You can just fly it in a warehouse, in a church, or whatever the case is going to be, because the FAA rules don't apply when you're indoors. Okay, so keep that in mind. So I think, in a lot of situations, this little guy here is going to be a superb starter drone. Okay, anybody can fly this drone. Even Richard could fly this drone. Maybe. Yes. Richard could fly this drone. Okay, so Terry, this would be a great drone for you to go walking the dogs. It can follow right behind you. It's got a ton of features built in. Let me turn this guy on here real quick and show you guys some of the cool features that you have built into this guy. All right. Powering up. All right, so one of the cool things that you have here is this built-in little screen right here. This guy also has LiDAR. It has 360-degree obstacle avoidance, so it will literally fly around things, fly over things, not so much under things unless, you started off going under something, but for the most part, it will avoid most obstacles, okay? And it has a bunch of presets built right into the drone, and you can actually expand that by just connecting your smartphone to it. And then from the drop-down list, you can choose additional presets. So let me show you what the presets look like. Let's go back over here. So you guys should be able to see the screen. I don't know how clearly you can see that screen if it's going to focus on it, but I can toggle through the different functions, and you should be able to hear the drone. It's going to call them out.
Dolly zoom, master shots, rocket, circle, droney, helix close-up, highlight slow-mo, selfie shot, follow, dolly zoom, master shots, rocket.
Now, master shots is pretty cool, because basically master shots, what it is, it does a number of different movements with one launch. So it's going to go up, it's going to do an orbit, it's going to do a rocket, it's going to do a selfie shot, it's going to do a whole bunch of different things just from that one mode.
Circle.
So you have circle that's going to orbit around wherever you are, where the drone takes off from.
Droney.
Droney is just going to kind of fly up and out. That means it's going to be facing you, and it's just going to fly up and out and looking back at you at the same time.
Helix close up.
So helix close-up means it's going to kind of circle around you and go up at the same time. And then you can have that in reverse where it circles around you and kind of comes down. It has some slow motion features that have just been added to the drone. And like I said, you can also fly this drone with a variety of different controllers. So that's what's really going to make this, you know, a unique little compact drone. So if you're into FPV flights, you can get the FPV controller. Now you will need the goggles in order to use this controller, but I'll also show you guys later tonight another way that if you're, you know, one of those people who can't wear the goggles, you can actually connect the goggles to an external monitor or a phone or something like that, so you can actually see the screen. Because when you are flying any drone that requires goggles, okay, in open air, you have to have a dedicated visual observer. That's another person that's looking around to make sure you're not about to fly into something, or a plane's not coming, or, you know, anything like that. And they're there to basically alert you if something's about to go wrong, to prevent you from getting into an accident. But like I said, you can use the FPV controller. We also have the RC2 controller. Now, this is the one with the built-in screen. This is the one that most people are familiar with. I think this was one of the first DJI controllers that I got when I first started flying. You know, it has the built-in screen. It has 4 antennas. It's got a bunch of presets built in. And it also comes with a simulator. So you can actually practice flying your drone before you actually get the drone, you know, confident enough to fly the drone outdoors, in the air, in the mountains, wherever it is going to be. I don't know if this is connected, because I connected something else to this recently, but it's not difficult. You could actually have just one controller, and you can connect to a variety of different drones with the one controller. Okay, so let me see if this guy is currently connected, and if it is, I'll fly it. If not, I might be able to quickly connect to it. All right, connect to aircraft. So we still have to go through the process of connecting it to this aircraft, which we're going to do now. So I'm going to choose that drone, click install, click confirm, and let's see if it automatically connects to it. If it does, I'll put it in the air. Okay, so it says firmware is up to date. I'm waiting for an image. Okay, so we got an image. So now this guy is basically ready to fly. So I'm going to back up here a little bit. And I'm going to take off these headphones for a second, just so you guys can see how easy it is to put this guy in the air. All right, let's go ahead and bring it up. And I forgot to turn the lights on. Okay, let me turn the lights on first. Let me go ahead and turn it off, and turn on our cool little flight lights, because I forgot about those. All right, so let me power
Quiet, well lit, textured environments.
All right, so let's turn our lights on, and we're going to turn our other landing light on here as well, so you guys see that. Now, these lights are from the halo lights you see around this drone are from a company called V-Fly. And then the light underneath here is from our friends over at Start RC. All right, so let's put this guy back on the ground. And let's go ahead and launch it. Give myself some space. All right, let's bring it up. Actually, let me check. Okay, obstacle avoidance is turned off, so let's go ahead and bring it up. So that's basically it. It is literally that simple, guys, to get this drone in the air. I hear now that it is raining outdoors, and I did not realize there was because I heard rumbling and I was like, where's the rumbling coming from? And yeah, that was thunder. So we're getting a little weather here. So we will not be flying the drone outdoors. And that was one of my plans tonight, was to connect the drone, the big drone here, to the controller to the laptop. And then I was going to send it outdoors, fly it through the door and fly around the neighborhood and let you guys see that. But unfortunately, we will not be doing that tonight because the rain has started. So let's go ahead and turn this guy off. All right, so let's move on to our next drone. So the next drone that you guys might consider, that's kind of a user-friendly drone, I think, for almost any new pilot, because this drone basically requires you to just get the drone in the air. So once it's in the air, because this drone has 360-degree video, 8K, 360-degree video, 360-degree obstacle avoidance, LiDAR, all of those things built in. It has 2 cameras, as you guys can see here. So you can fly this in single lens mode, or you can fly this in dual lens mode, where it will automatically rotate and you'll have the whole full 360, okay? And this is a protected propeller drone, just like the Neo 2. So the ducts protect the propellers. That's going to give you extra protection in case you do bump into something. But when you have the other safeties engaged, like your obstacle avoidance, your LiDAR, things like that, the drone will do its best to try and avoid crashing into anything, okay? Now, of course, you can add additional protection, like these little bumper guards that you guys see that I have on here. You know, you can easily purchase those. They're not very expensive, but they will save the drone in some, you know, situations. Now, where are the batteries for this one? Okay, so I received the Fly More combo, so that came with these batteries here. So you get 3 batteries, the charger, a shoulder bag. You also get a landing pad. You get some replacement propellers with this drone as well. So let's see if we can get this guy in the air. Let me grab one of these batteries and see if we can set it up here real quick. All right, so real simple. You're just going to take your battery. You're just going to slot that guy in like so. Lock it in place. You guys see that? Power this on. It powers from the back. Actually, I don't think this battery has much power. Let me check one of the other batteries. What do we got? What do we got? Okay, let's see how much power that one has. Okay, this one is better charge on this one. I need to charge these batteries. But that's why it's good that you get 3 batteries with it, okay? So anyway, let's go ahead and turn this guy on. Again, press on the button, press 1 time, then hold it, and it's going to switch on. You'll see the propellers start to rotate, and you hear that familiar sound. Now, right now, it is locked in place. Your camera's locked in place facing forward, but when the drone takes off, this will rotate where you'll have a lens on top, a lens underneath. Now, what's unique about this drone, you really don't need a lot of, you know, advanced piloting skills, because a lot of your production can be done in post. So the objective with this is just to fly in one direction, because the drone is looking on all other directions. Now, you can fly this with our FPV goggles. You can fly this with the FPV controller, the Motion 3 controller. Let me grab that and show it to you guys. All right. Oops. All right. So these are the FPV goggles that I received. Now, these are the goggles N3. There's also a goggles 3. So it just depends. This is the more budget-friendly variant of these goggles. And of course, like I said, you can use the Motion 3 controller, which is more like a little joystick controller, to control it. And that's just going to work with your wrist movements, you know, going forward, going side to side, up and down. You know, so you have all of the same controls that you would have in one of the larger controllers, all in one hand. But of course, you still have to be wearing the goggles. Now, like I said, there's an option to that. You can actually connect the goggles to another screen or to a tablet or something like that. and then you'll be able to see the tablet even though you're connected to the goggles. So if you wanted to fly that way and you only had the FPV set up, but you found out later that you don't feel comfortable wearing it that way, that's an option. I'll probably do a video on that going forward. And another option is if you wanted to use the other controller, which is our RC2 controller, but you don't have goggles, but you do want the immersive look, you can also use one of or some of the VR glasses that's going to give you that same type of immersive feel for the flight. Okay, so let's set this guy down for a second and see if I can get it to connect to our controller. So I'm going to back out because it was just connected to the Neo 2. So now we're going to connect it to this controller, this drone here. Same process, I'm just switching. Now I'm switching drones. Okay, it says firmware is up to date. Waiting for it to see. So now I can see the drone is ready to fly. I don't have any satellites. I'm indoors, obviously, but I can still put it in the air just as quickly. So you see how fast I was able to switch from one drone to another drone based on depending on whatever it is that I'm going to be doing. So maybe I'm flying outdoors, but I want a smaller drone inside or whatever it is. You know, as long as you have already connected the drones at least once to the controller, it's going to be relatively easy to switch it back and forth. All right. So let me go ahead and start this guy up. Let me check our obstacle avoidance. I'm going to turn it off. It says not recommended, which I know is not recommended. But anyway, I'm going to bring it up so you guys can see. All right, so there it is. All right, guys, just that quick, back on the ground. I just wanted to put it up in the air so you guys can see how fast you can get this guy in the air, ready to rock and roll. All right, so I'm going to check the comments because I can see comments are coming through. Let me go ahead and turn this guy off here real quick and put our gimbal protection back on. And also make sure I did do that also for the Neo 2. Yeah, I did. Okay. So this guy, we can just throw, we're not going to throw it. We're going to put it over here. All right. So let me come over here and check our comments. What's going on here?
Got it.
So, Hope, as an answer to your question, I would recommend someone starting with a controller than the goggles, okay? Because the controller is going to give you more flexibility. One, you can fly a variety of different drones with it. Like this FPV drone right here can only be flown with the goggles, where all of the others we can fly, you know, with this controller or a different variation of this controller. So it really just depends on a person's interest, where they're going to be flying, if they're going to have someone assisting them, helping them, or something like that. All of those things are going to be, you know, variables, you know, in the calculation of what's going to be the best drone for them. Now, if you're doing real estate, if you're doing commercial work or anything like that, this is a good starting drone. This is the Air, this is the Air 3S, which is a much larger drone. It has 2 built-in cameras as well. You have a 24 millimeter equivalent, a 70 millimeter equivalent. This drone can fly up to 60 miles an hour. So yeah, this is the drone I would go with if I was doing something more commercial, especially before I got the 360 drone. So if I didn't have any of these other drones and I only could choose one of these drones, it's going to be my main go-to drone, it would be this guy right here, because this is going to be a more versatile drone for photo and video. Okay, now that drone can only be controlled with this style of controller. Okay, you can't use goggles with it, you can't use the motion controller, but that's more of a cinematic style drone, you know, GPS drone, where it's going to be flying pretty much controlled cinematic movements, versus something like this drone, which is meant to be able to do tricks and flips and stuff like that. This is your FPV drone. Now, the Neo 2 can also do those FPV style stunts. So you can do flips and rolls and all kind of crazy stuff with this if you're, you know, accustomed to doing it. You can't do it with this controller. You can do it with this controller. Okay, so it just depends on, again, how much you want to invest into these drones, what you're really trying to learn. Now, if you're interested in FPV flight, I would say start with the simulator. Start with a simulator, because you will crash a lot, okay? Especially flying in full manual. Now, you can fly FPV in either sport or normal mode before you get into manual to get kind of a feel for what it's like to fly it. And there are some built-in features, you know, for FPV where the drone can do flips and do some of the little tricks, but it's kind of canned tricks, you know, it's just very basic stuff. Not anything like what you see when, you know, these guys are diving down mountains and, you know, shooting through pipes and going through gaps and stuff like that. That is completely different. That is a whole nother level of skills. So it takes a lot of time and effort and development to develop those skills. It's not something that's going to come overnight. Trust me, it's like anything that's worth having is worth putting in the time. And believe me, you will invest the time in that type of flight, okay? I'm telling you, you're going to invest some time, babies. All right, so what was it I wanted to show you guys tonight? So I want to show you, I guess I could have done, yeah, I don't really even need to do it that way. I can do it this way. So without even flying a drone, I'm just going to take this iPad and I'm going to show you guys how easy it is to set up one of these commercial job style shoots if you're, you know, if you're so inclined to do so, right? So one of the things we want to be able to do with like an iPad or an additional monitor is so that your director, producer, real estate agent, whatever the case it is, they can see what you see through the drone without them having to stand over your shoulder and be, you know, the whole time looking at your controller and getting in your way. You definitely don't want that. So what you can do is you could take something like an iPad here and then you could connect this iPad to a controller, and then they'd be able to see what's going on the iPad, and then you're still able to control what you're doing on the controller itself, right? So if we take this controller, we would need to still connect the controller via cable. So we're still going to connect via USB-C to HDMI to USB-C, and you have to have the right app on your iPad. But again, this could just be a monitor. It could just be like a regular monitor like this. You could just have a monitor like this, and you could plug into the controller, and they'd be able to view everything on the monitor just as easily, okay? But in this situation tonight, I'm going to show you guys how to set this up. So let me grab the cables. All right, so I have these cables from Ugreen, and they're in 2 parts, okay? So you have your capture card, which is HDMI to USB-C, and then this one is the male HDMI to USB-C, okay? So you see how those are, and then those two just connect like that, and then you're going to plug them in between the 2 devices, okay? So first and foremost, let me grab my headphones so I make sure audio sounds good. All All right, there we go. I feel back. All right, so let me connect this for you guys. You can check this out. All right. But yeah,
Look at you being helpful.
What? Oh, so now you're not having your technical difficulties right now, Louis? So now wait, let me put some of this other stuff away, Louis, so we got some space. All right.
Yeah, please do. Your desk is starting to look like a tech crime scene. Take a second, stash the extras, then tell me what you want the audience to see next. The one cable HDMI to USB-C setup, or the capture card route?
No, yeah, so that's what we're going to do. So give me a chance to do it, Louis. So let me get the cables untangled so I can plug everything in. All right, so I'm going to plug into our iPad right here. And then I'm going to plug into our RC2 controller. Actually, let me switch these.
Perfect. Plug it into the RC2 controller. But which port are you using? HDMI out?
No.
Once it's seated, check two things.
No,
The
I'm
controller
not.
is actually outputting video,
No, I'm not
and
using.
the iPad or monitor is set to the capture input.
Yeah, but
Tell me what the screen does when you connect.
I'm not using HDMI out as you think I am. So I'm actually using a capture card. So let me show you what I'm doing here. Hopefully I can put this up behind you, and I can move Ebo further forward, and see if I can move this further back. Nope, don't you do it. Don't you do it. Don't do it. All right, so let me turn on the controller. All right, so we're powering up the controller. And I'm going to also open the iPad.
Also what?
I'm opening the I'm opening the iPad, Louis. Just give me a second to get this set up. Okay, so there's my app. And this should automatically connect. I believe it should. Let me try again. Actually, you know what? Let me use a different app. So let's use this one.
If you insist, switching apps is fine, but don't make it a guessing game. Which app are you opening? And what are you trying to view on the iPad, the RC2 live camera feed, or the RC2 screen via HDMI capture?
Yeah, I'm going to try to view the RC2 controller screen through the iPad. So I have to have the app installed, and I'm just going to plug this in like that. And I'm going to click next or OK. Okay, I think I have both apps open. Yes, I do. So let me close one of those. And that one is open now. Okay, I don't know why it's not automatically seeing it, because it should just connect. But for some reason it's not. So it's not connecting. So let me try closing this, because I have a bunch of stuff running in the background. So let me close some of these other apps that might be interfering. As you see, I have a bunch of stuff open. See, Hope, even I do this sometimes. So, you know, go through and make sure all of your stuff is turned off if you don't need it. All right, so let's see if we can get this to open this time.
Yep, that's the move. Kill the extra apps, then reopen the capture app first. Plug the capture dongle in after it's open, and see if it pops up. If it still refuses to show up, try a quick unplug-replug on the USB-C.
No,
and make sure the capture device is
I
getting...
think I know what it is, Louis. So let me turn...
All right.
Let me turn the controller
Then
off,
do your...
and then I'm going to turn the controller back on. Because sometimes, if the controller's already on, they don't make the handshake, and it doesn't switch over. So we're going to see here if this fixes it. If not, you guys get the idea of what I'm saying here. Because usually this works. This usually works. So I don't know why it's not working right now. But we'll see here in a second if we get the screen. The black screen is an indicator. All right, there we go. So you guys can see that now. Let me tilt this camera up a little bit so you guys can see that a little bit better. There we go. So now we have the controller screen on the iPad, right? So if I go to my simulator, I can actually fly this just as an example of what it would look like if I was flying an actual drone on a client job, right? So let's say I'm just going to place this iPad about right there where someone would be able to view it. We have most likely a longer cable because I'm a little bit further away. I don't want them to be right on top of me, but I can still go in. We're just going to do a simulated flight here real quick. So we're going to just go fly so you guys can see that. You're seeing what I'm seeing. Now, of course, I can plug this into the computer right now, and you would see this, you know, similarly on a larger screen. But for now, I just want you to see what another person would be seeing if they were sitting in front of the iPad while I was doing this, okay? So I can just take our robot out and place our drone. Let's say we're going to play. Oops, well, that was probably a bad place to place it. But anyway, so we placed the drone on the ground right here, and now we're just going to power it up, and we're going to take off. Home point is updated, so now
Got it. Now
Really?
hit them with home point updated.
What
So if
is
anything gets
going
weird, I
on?
can trigger return to home and it'll come back to this spot.
Yeah, but
Clean, reassuring, client friendly.
stop it. Ebo, stop it. Ebo, stop calling people. What is Ebo calling people? Stop it. Ebo. I don't know why Ebo is trying to call someone. Ebo's back here behind me trying to call someone. But anyway, so our drone she's still doing it. I'm not kidding. I'm not making this up. She's trying to call someone. Okay. So she probably thinks something has happened. Let me fix it. Yes, that's what it is. She thinks something's wrong. So I got to end the call. Okay, Ebo.
Good. Ending the call was the right move.
Yes,
You want to roll right back into your demo with a quick reset line like,
okay, so
sorry about that.
So Ebo has a security feature where if Ebo detects someone has fallen or thinks someone's in danger, she will try to call your significant other to let them know that something has gone wrong.